tonight we are going to be going through what I've been reading lately. I have 5 books to share with you tonight. 4, 5. 2 of which I have finished, 2 of which I'm actively currently super right now immediately reading, and then one that I plan to pick up just as soon as I can. It just came in the mail. So let's get into it. The first book is called My Phantoms from Gwendolyn Riley, or Gwendoline. I'm not sure. It's funny because this was on my to buy list, and I think I had probably just purchased it when someone in the comments mentioned that they really liked it and thought I might too. I did. I finished this one and I did like it a lot. Usually when I pick up a book from the New York Review of Books, it's like an old book that's been re-released or it's in translation. It's kind of like not contemporary, I'll say that. And they usually have a square in the center here with the title and the author. This one has a slightly different cover design, as you can see. But I still had similar expectations of it. Like, I didn't think that she was a living writer, but she is. I read an interview with her, and she said that often people read her books and are like, these characters remind me so much of my parents. I didn't quite feel that way, but I could understand how people might. So, this book is funny, a little dark, mostly funny, and it is about a relationship between a mother and a daughter as the mother is aging, and the daughter is, an adult, maybe middle-aged or so, and the mother seems so full of life and has all these admirable qualities, but she's still like this deeply insecure person who on a dime is like having fun, and then all of a sudden she has this reaction that's kind of ruins the mood, and then the daughter will have to manage that, and their dynamic is just fascinating. I'm just tapping this book every which way. So it's Helen Grant, the mother, is a mystery to her daughter, an extrovert with few friends who has sought intimacy in the wrong places, a twice divorced mother of 2, now living alone, surrounded by her memories. Helen has always haunted Bridget. Bridget's her daughter, and it does say here that she's an academic in her 40s. So, it's very good and a little funny. It is funny, it's just maybe not laugh out loud funny, but highly entertaining. She really does a good job, Riley does, of capturing the mother and how you want to show up for her and take care of her, but then she just shoots you down time and again, and she has all these odd mannerisms. When she's nervous, she'll put on voices to kind of perform for guests. She'll be like, we got the meatballs, we got the nuts, and stuff like that. So that's all in the dialogue and in the writing. Good book, and it's also not too long. Like, the text is rather big, so I got through it pretty quick. Would recommend. The next book, which I have also finished, is this tiny one you might have seen in a little haul I did a while back of random things from this gift shop. So it's called 2 Cities, as you can see, by Cynthia Zarin. She is a poet, I believe. Never read any of her poetry, although having read this, I would assume that it is gorgeous. And I'll show you. It's divided into two parts, Serene and Rome, and then you have the acknowledgements as well. Serene is about Venice because Venice is called La Serenissima. And then Rome is obviously about Rome. I liked both sections, but I thought that Venice was even more captivating. With Venice in particular, these things also hold true with Rome, but speaking of Venice in particular, she goes there kind of in the midst of sorting out this it's not an affair, but this love that she has for this guy in the city. They're in the middle of figuring out if they're going to move forward with it or not. She's having kind of complicated emotions about it, really in her feels. And so she gets this invite to go to Venice to celebrate an artist that she used to know. An artist that she used to know. And naturally she takes it and takes the invitation, says yes. She kind of is hoping that the guy she's into is going to come with her, but he doesn't. And she's kind of put out by that, but then she's also excited to be traveling on her own. And anyway, the writing just is so beautiful, and it just evokes so brilliantly the place. Like reading this, which is quite slim, I felt like I took a little vacation to Italy, honestly. So it was a really nice book to sit down with and read. Pretend it was summer. It's quite hot both times, like when she's in Venice and when she's in Rome. It's hot. It's the summer, and you really get like fully transported there. And she makes all these beautiful remarks on pieces of art that she sees there, on the kinds of people she sees there. And yeah, it's just very transporting. And it's the perfect size to like put in your bag or your purse or whatever. And just read when you get a second as you're like bopping around town or whatever it is that people do. So, also would recommend. Okay, now the two books that I'm in the middle of reading, and then the one I have yet to start, which I'm like so excited about. So one that I am reading is all about love. About love. New Visions by Bell Hooks. Some of you may know from other videos that I purchased this book for my partner and said I would steal it when he was done reading it and then read it for myself, which is exactly what's happening. He read it, he really liked it a lot. He did also say that he felt towards the end it got a bit redundant, but that overall it was like so good. So you can see I'm just there. I'm not very far along yet, but so far I really, really like it. Two things I've learned from this already that have kind of stuck with me. I'll just share them briefly. One, that love is different from care, that a lot of us believe from the way we were raised that love is the same as care. But her definition of love, which she borrows from a philosopher, is that love is extending yourself for the spiritual growth of yourself or another. And care is wholly different from that. And she makes the point that that is a hard definition for some people to stomach, most of us to stomach, because if we believe that love is about the spiritual or the extension of ourselves to enable someone else's or our own spiritual growth, that would mean that things that have happened to us in the past that we understood as love no longer qualify as love. And that's why there's so much resistance to finding a more, to her mind, a more authentic definition of true love. Whether that's from a romantic partner or a family member or a friend. It really is this extension. So I thought that was fascinating. Like, whether you agree with it or not, it's very interesting to think about. Maybe the definitions that we kind of resist, because if we accept those definitions, it will necessarily mean that like we have had less experience with that thing. The second is in the section about children and loving children and providing them with what they need as they become independent humans, basically. She talks a bit about the benefits of having 2 or more parental figures. I always understood like having 2 parents or parental figures as being useful, maybe because there's an opportunity for 2-income household then, 2 people working as a team to raise children, which is a very intense, time-intensive, cost-intensive experience, etc. But she points out that it's useful in another way, which is that a kid doesn't really have many rights. They're not independent. And if a child disagrees with their parent, and that's the only parent or parental figure, they have no one to appeal to, to be like. So she gives the example where her friend is a single mom, has a child, of course, and she is the godmother to that child, as appointed by her friend. And as the child is getting older, she wants an allowance, but her mom is like, no allowance, I didn't have an allowance, no. And the child thinks this is really unfair, so she goes to Belle, and she's like, I think this is unfair. And then Belle is able to talk to the child's mother as an equal and hear her out, hear her case, but then also make the case for the child in the child's stead, in terms of like, okay, you're saying you don't want to give her an allowance in part because you think that she'll like waste it, but like, what if we trust her to be careful with it and invest it or save it, So, and actually Belle then convinced her friend to, yes, indeed, give the child the allowance, and the child was very responsible with it. And it taught her a lot about money, saving money and being responsible. So I just thought that was interesting. I had never really thought about parents as like balancing forces in that way. And again, that doesn't mean you need like 2 parents, like biological parents. It's just parental figures, really. So, making progress on this, and so far, I really like it. I'll let you know if I also think the ending's redundant, but that is that. And then next up, something I'm also in the middle of, although not very far at all, is this book called White Cat, Black Dog. Stories by Kelly Link. So if you don't know Kelly Link, she's fantastic. She basically, the long and short of it is, she reimagines fairy tales. The stories, as I've read so far in this book, which is really just one of 7 stories, I've only read 1 so far, but they're more contemporary than in her past work, I would say. Like in the story I read here, there's like a mention of Facebook and like a mention of like there's like a dispensary and things like that. And in other books I've read by her, it didn't feel quite so contemporary. But basically, she reinvents fairy tales. Some of her work is like a little spooky. Two of my favorite stories by her, both of which I think you can find online if you don't have her books, are The Speculator's Hat and Cat Skin. I know you can find Cat Skin online because I just read part of it for Patreon. But anyway, she's just fantastic and she's so inventive. The story that I read in here was called The White Cat's Divorce, and it was a real trip. In it, an aging billionaire sends his 3 sons on a series of absurd goose chases to decide which child will become his heir. In another story, a professor with a delicate health condition becomes stranded for days in an airport hotel after a conference, desperate to get home to her wife and young daughter, and in acute danger of being late for an appointment that cannot be missed. And yet another one, a young man agrees to take over a remote house-sitting gig for a friend, but what should be a chance to focus on his long-avoided dissertation instead becomes a wildly unexpected journey, as the house seems to be a portal for otherworldly travelers, or perhaps a door into his own mysterious psyche, etc. So there are 7 stories in this. Like I said, I've only read one so far. All wildly different, all wildly inventive, I'm sure, as we just saw from that little synopsis. Yeah, and they're all longish, but not too long that you can't read them in one sitting. So, would recommend as well. It came out relatively recently. And if you like this, then of her other books, I would say I like most the one called Stranger Than Fiction. So, finally, we have the book that just came in the mail that I have not started yet, but I'm like itching to pick it up. And that is called Yes, No, YN. Not sure how we should be saying this. YN. That sounds so good. It is by Esther. So yeah, the premise of this one, I try to pick things up in a bookstore. I read a few lines of them before I buy them because I'm big on like how the line feels. Like the quality of the prose matters a lot to me, and if I feel like the prose is lazy in any way, I have a very hard time getting past it. But this one, the premise was so good that I kind of blind bought it. I blind bought it, so don't know much about it yet. It's probably just easier for me to read this. Surreal, hilarious, and shrewdly poignant, a novel about a Korean-American woman living in Berlin whose obsession with a K-pop idol sends her to Seoul on a journey of literary self-destruction. It's as if her life began once Moon appeared in it. The desultory copywriting work, the boyfriend, and the want of anything not Moon quickly fall away when she beholds the idol in concert, where Moon dances as if his movements are creating their own gravitational field. On live streams, as fans from around the world comment in dozens of languages, even on skincare products endorsed by the wildly popular Korean boy band, of which Moon is the youngest, most luminous member. Seized by ineffable desire, our unnamed narrator begins writing YN fanfic, in which you, the reader, insert your name. Interesting. didn't know that. Okay, so it's a type of fanfic in which you, the reader, insert your name and play out an intimate relationship with the unattainable star. Then Moon suddenly retires, vanishing from the public eye. As YN flies, so your name is the name of the character. I love it. Flies from Berlin to Seoul to be with Moon, our narrator too journeys to Korea in search of the object of her love. An escalating series of mistranslations and misidentifications lands her at the headquarters of the Kafkaesque entertainment company that manages the boy band until, at a secret location, together with Moon at last, art and real life approach their final convergence. From a conspicuous new talent comes YN, a provocative literary debut about the universal longing for transcendence and the tragic struggle to assert one's singular story amidst the amnesiac is what I want to say, but that's not how it's spelled. Amnesiac effects of globalization. Grappling with the intellectual sensitivity of Aleph Batuman and the sinewy absurdism of Thomas Pynchon, Esther E.'s prose unsettles the boundary between high and mass art, exploding our expectations of a novel about identity and offering in its place a picture of the loneliness that afflicts modern life. So, obviously it sounds amazing, right? Yeah. I'm very excited. I'll let you know how it is. Your name. I don't know when talking about it if I should call it Your Name now or just YN. The spine sounds really good too. Alright, so that's what I've been reading lately. Let me know what you've been reading lately too, if you would like. I always love to hear. I hope you're doing super, super, super well. And I'll see you very soon. Until then,